If you're familiar with my content, you know that I like to share my opinions on religion and politics and how these topics relate to veganism. And of course I share my videos on various vegan Facebook groups because gotta promote myself, okay? The past few videos I've shared have gotten a lot of engagement in these groups because, they're controversial. I keep getting these comments that I'm creating a divide and I should be focusing on what we have in common rather than what we don't, and that my videos are inappropriate for these Facebook groups because they're alienating Christian or conservative vegans. This video is just a way to divide people who share different views on issues. As vegans, we should unite, not divide. It makes me sad when people do the "believe my way or you are evil" dividing line. You're only going to be stuck in an echo chamber if that's how you feel. You're never going to be able to change minds that way, and you're only going to further divide people by doing this. Blah, 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 blah. You can pause here and read these comments if you so desire. Okay, there's a lot to address here. First of all, there's no denying that topics like religion and politics are divisive. But does that mean we should just avoid talking about these subjects? Like, I get that it's divisive, but what is the alternative? Sweeping everything under the rug? How is that productive? We should be taught how to talk about politics and manage conflict in a civil way, but instead we're just taught to not bring up these subjects to avoid conflict. You could argue that every single influential person in history created a divide somewhere, even if their overall goal was to bring people together. Martin Luther King, for example, was often criticized for being too radical and for creating tension and division when his goal was literally to unite a segregated nation. This brings me to another point. It's fucking hilarious when people say that America has never been more divided. Like, did you bump your head and forget about the 100+ years of segregation? We literally had a civil war. Yet today, in 2019, we've never been more divided. Look, I get it. I get that we're divided. But how is avoiding controversy going to get us anywhere? What social progress has ever come from sweeping shit under the rug, pretending like there are no problems, and holding hands and singing fucking Kumbaya? Social change comes from bringing the tension that has been buried for so long to the surface so that it can be dealt with. It's like if you have depression or anxiety and your therapist tells you to confront these negative emotions rather than suppress them. That is how you develop healthy coping mechanisms. Martin Luther King famously differentiates negative peace from positive peace. Negative peace is the absence of tension, whereas positive peace is the presence of justice. When you avoid topics like veganism, politics, and religion with family, so as not to create tension, you are promoting a negative peace. True peace means that no one is being oppressed, that there are no dead animals at the dinner table. Social change comes by disrupting the status quo and making people uncomfortable. I was at work the other day and this dude told me that he doesn't support Greenpeace because we're too confrontational. I almost laughed in his face. Like, do you understand how any of this works? This is the result of being taught a whitewashed, sanitized version of history. Being nice and polite won't get you very far. Another thing that I see is people tend to equate being nice with being kind. On the surface, they seem synonymous, but there is an important distinction to be made. The word nice is defined as being pleasing, agreeable, and delightful, whereas kind is defined as having, showing, or proceeding from benevolence. So now that we've made that distinction, perhaps I'm not being nice in my videos where I'm putting down Christianity and conservatism, but I don't think that I'm being unkind because I am coming from a place of benevolence. I want the world to be a better place for everyone, and I don't think that these ideologies are conducive to this vision. What I value most is truth and logic and moral consistency. I've never been a people pleaser. I've been told my whole life that I need to tone it down. And even when I took this advice to heart and intentionally changed my language and tone and messaging, I'm still told to tone it down because people really don't like their beliefs being challenged. But fuck that, pernicious beliefs need to be challenged. Of course, there is always room for improvement. I'm not saying that my delivery is perfect, but I have been really conscious of separating people from the ideologies they hold. I'm not afraid to criticize ideologies like carnism, Christianity, and conservatism, but what you won't hear me saying is that Christians are stupid and conservatives are evil. I view Christians and conservatives and anyone who holds opposing beliefs as the complex individuals that they are. Martin Luther King, who I've referenced several times throughout this video, was a devout Christian, and I still think he was a brilliant man and an American hero. And I just want to set the record straight here. I have never blocked anyone for having opposing beliefs. I know it's super common for people to be like, unfriend me if you support Trump, but that is not me. So if you're gonna accuse me of creating an echo chamber, please provide evidence. This is seriously one of my biggest pet peeves when people tell me that I'm creating a divide. Like, shut the fuck up. I am not going to keep my opinions on extremely important topics that we need to fucking talk about to myself to appease anyone. I refuse to uphold this negative piece that everyone seems so attached to. You are welcome to disagree with me, but please provide an actual argument rather than a non sequitur. Thank you so much for watching. I have a lot to expand on this topic, so stay tuned for my next video explaining why conservatism does not align with the principles of veganism. Alright, bye!
Yo, how when me eat them, I wonder when me eat. When me tell them say me nah eat no fish, nah no meat now. How when me eat them, I wonder when me yam. When me tell them say that I'm a vegan, man. How when me eat them, I wonder when me eat. When me tell them say me nah eat no fish, nah no meat now.